I think we are live. Boom. Look at that. I think we're alone in here. Oh, we got somebody. What's up? I never done an Instagram live before. You are my first visitor. Jamil, what's going on, bro? I think you can type in the chat and I'll see it. Eduardo, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. We got two. Rocco, you want to be in the live? I think Rocco will be here. But Alex, the GK, what's up, man? Welcome to Instagram Live. I can't see and hear you guys, so I think if you have questions for me, just pop them in the chat. What's up, guys? Boom. And we are actually live on 3 platforms. We're live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And took me about 5 minutes to set that up. It's pretty cool. What's up, George, Jamie? We got 5. Nice. Welcome, everybody. 6. Maybe make a post. Let everybody know we are live. Whoops. It's going to be weird making a post, like filming yourself, making a live. It's going to be interesting. What's up, guys? So this is very meta, but this is me making a post of me doing a Facebook live, Instagram live. So we are live. We got all these lovely people in the building, and we are also making a story about it. So if you got questions about my program, if you got questions about Poker Mindset Mastery Ascension, just hop on and ask. This is very meta, but this is me making a post of me doing a Facebook live, Instagram live. So we are live. We got all these lovely people in the building, and we are also making a story about it. All right. All right, Jamie asked, do you still play poker? And if so, what are you playing? Yeah, I still play poker. I don't play too much because I think my EV is higher doing business, doing crypto, or managing the stable. But I play tournaments on Sundays because it's kind of the highest EV. It's also the most fun. And I had a pretty good result. I won like 12K, I think, last Sunday. So that was a pretty nice day. I play ABI like, 100, 200, somewhere in there. I still play PLO cash as well. Like sometimes online, I'll play like 2-4 to 5-10. And that's about it. I mean, I don't want to grind cash games for a living at this stage in my career, but I do still like to hang in the streets and play poker. It's a lot more fun to play when you feel like playing. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with poker at the moment. What's up, Miro? Welcome to the Instagram Live. Thank you for joining us. Miro is one of my friends who's a badass coach for entrepreneurs. So thank you very much for being here. What's up, Dietrich Fast? One of my favorite clients. I mean, all you guys are my favorite clients if you're working with me, but Dietrich's been with me for like 5 years. He's one of my original clients as well. What's up, Steven? Steven's a legendary coach as well. He does men's retreats, maybe women too, for entrepreneurs, and mixes in some plant medicine. So he's an absolute badass and a war veteran. What's up? I am still in Mexico. I'm living down the road from Tulum in Playa del Carmen. Maybe going there tomorrow. Manish is another badass entrepreneur. I got to come up with a new term, but Manish actually invented a digital wearable tracker that you wear. It sends you electric shocks if you do a habit you're trying to quit. So it's a little personal. I don't normally share stuff like this, but I have a habit that I'm going to try and break. And that sometimes when I get anxious, I will like scratch my head or like bite my finger. Actually, sometimes when playing a poker session, I'll notice I'm like chewing the skin on my finger, which is just, I'm sitting here like this. So it's a wearable that every time you notice yourself doing a physical habit that you want to break, you press a button and it shocks you like with electricity, like an animal. So I've actually yet to try this. It can be used as a strap for an iWatch as well, an Apple Watch. But I bought one while I was in the US recently. So I just went home to visit my family and I bought one of these because I'm very intrigued to test it out. It's really good for helping people with behavioral tics. So I will let you guys know how that works out. I'm super excited to give that a shot. And yeah, I'm actually just really happy to see how many people joined in. I mean, we decided to do an Instagram live literally less than an hour ago. So I really had no idea if anyone was going to show up. I thought I was going to hear crickets and be here by myself. And I'm very happy to see you guys on here. I did get a Black Friday sale haircut. Maybe just a Thanksgiving haircut some days ago. Who is this for and who this is not for? So, I mean, Poker Mindset Mastery Ascension is for the poker player who wants to get to the next level, right? It's like you're playing poker and you've been at the level you're at for a little while and you want to get to that next level. But perhaps you either don't have the routines and skills that it takes or you've struggled to implement them. So, I mean, as many of you guys may not know, this program actually had its genesis in professional poker staking organizations. So I designed my program while I was coaching up to 200 players at one point at BitB. This was a tournament staking, like basically hedge fund. So I worked with the players to get them kind of up to their potential, help them with mindset challenges, help them have the habits to study when they need to study, to play, and to keep things fun and light so they enjoy poker. We also use this program with a huge PLO stable. So PLO5 is our stable that I'm affiliated with. And we use this program not just with our English speaking players, but also we have our program translated into Portuguese. So like hundreds of Brazilian players are using this program as well. And it's really, really good at just helping you treat your poker like a professional, get over all your emotional challenges, keep it fun while also being a pro, having a set schedule when you need one, knowing when you're going to study, knowing when you're going to play, having the routines outside of poker in your diet and your lifestyle that help you show up and do your best at the tables. This is really what the program does. And I guess like who it's not for the person who's not into working on themselves. If you're a poker player, like there's a lot of people out there, like maybe they've played poker and they've done well and they've made money and they just like, I don't know, they just don't really give a shit to try to improve themselves. They're just like, it's not their vibe, and that's okay. Like not everybody needs to be working on themselves all the time. For sure, there's times when you're doing a lot of self-development or personal development, you might feel like, you know what, like I need a break. So if you're not in the season of your life or you feel like you can improve anything, you're like, then maybe you want to make sure you're committed, because the last thing I want to see is people join the program and not take advantage of it, right? So you got to know that, hey, I want to make a change. The program is for people who want to improve their life. They want to improve their quality of life, their happiness, also their win rate. You want to make more money. If that's not you, then you're just going to buy the program. It's going to sit there and you're not going to do anything with it. And then you're going to say, oh, James' program didn't work for me. And I don't want that, right? I want my program to work for you. So just maybe a little mirror check. Am I ready to make a change? Am I ready to let somebody help me? Am I able to let a coach in? Because a lot of times we're kind of closed to doing things differently, and we've always done them. All right, let's see. Miro says he's my favorite. Anish welcomes me to the family for that wearable. Yeah, I'm very excited to check that out. Julia's in here. So my girlfriend's literally joined the live from like 10 feet away. Just gave me a big smile. What is the cost of a poker player not mastering their mindset? That's a very good question. So, it depends on the player, but it can be really high. Because what people don't realize is a lot of poker players go through like kind of a financial implosion at some point in their life. You guys may not know this about me, but I've busted like 4 6-figure rolls in my career before I kind of learned how to manage money. I lost 250K in a day before. That sucked. That was also in Bitcoin. So it's like 2 million by today's numbers. Doing things like that helps you learn. But it also, like, repeating things like that is a really slow way to succeed in life. So poker players don't realize that if you have demons that you haven't kind of sorted out, if you have, too much gamble and not enough like emotional control and rational behavior, you'll just keep repeating the same pattern. Like you get stuck, you grind it out, you improve your game, you start to win, then your ego takes a hold of you. And then you're playing tournaments you don't belong playing. You're playing too high a stakes. You're, playing spots just because you have an edge, but you're not considering the bankroll side of things and how to best grow your capital, and just taking unnecessary risks. And then, hey, if fortune doesn't smile upon you, you end up back in a position where you have to drop down and play lower than you're skilled enough to play because you've just kind of imploded your bankroll. And this is a disaster. Because you could be the best poker player in the world, but if you don't have bankroll management, you may not ever get to the stakes you belong at, because it's just very like statistical that you shouldn't, because you need to have the wherewithal to sustain, right? The other thing is, like, if you have leaks in your personal life, like addictions to drugs or women or whatever, you're trying to fill some sort of hole of significance in yourself and your ego, poker won't necessarily do that for you. So if you don't work on your own demons and the stuff inside of you, you can end up like really unhappy, because you might get the success you're after in poker and realize it didn't deliver all the things you thought it would. And that can be dangerous, because now people don't know what to do. And a lot of times in that situation, they will self-sabotage. They'll kind of make mistakes accidentally on purpose to end up back in the journey of like, oh, one day I'm going to get this right. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to get my bankroll to this amount. I'm going to be playing these stakes and I'll be happy. Because the moment they actually got there and it didn't make them happy, they didn't know what to do. So it's like, this is why you see people kind of punting or just like kind of zombie like repeating bad patterns and bad mistakes. It's because on some subconscious level, it's like scary to think, what if the goal I had isn't actually going to make me happy? And it's really important to be able to look at yourself internally and be happy with yourself. And then you can make much more rational decisions about how to manage your career, because you're not trying to like make up for anything or validate yourself or fill a hole. You're like, just, I play poker because I like it, I'm good at it, and it's a good way to make money, right? It's not anything, I'm not making it about anything else. I'm not trying to, bolster my ego or make myself feel significant or try to, prove anything to my parents or who I went to school with and this kind of thing. Let's see. What is my favorite success story, and what was their initial hesitation? One of the guys in our program, his name's Carlos. He's a coach for Samba, which is another poker organization. And he paid me in Bitcoin, so he paid me way more than the course actually sells for now, which is nice of him. That's not the reason it's my favorite success story, but that's one. So he had done a load of personal development in his life. Like, he'd done books, he'd done courses. So he was very hesitant. He's like, look, I've done this. I like Tony Robbins. I'm into personal development. Like, it didn't really help me with these problems, right? Because a lot of times when you're a poker player, you know what it is you're doing wrong. But like, when you're tilted, it doesn't matter. So you shouldn't play stakes that you're not bankrolled for. You shouldn't like make light 3-bets just because you've been losing, or what it is that you do that you shouldn't do. But in the moment, you're captivated by emotion and you're not able to stop yourself. So like, when you kind of get it mentally, but you're not able to get it in execution, you often feel like nothing's going to work for me because I just, I already know this. I just can't do it. And he was someone who kind of said, look, I've done all the where he wasn't expecting this to work for him. And he'd also been breaking even for a long time. So he's coaching all these guys and his players are having success and he's not. And he's feeling really bad about himself because his own personal results haven't been there. And he has this graph. It's on our sales page. He's like, this marks the day I joined your course. It's like break even for 2 years and then just poof, poof, straight vertical. I think he won the GG Masters. And then a year later, he won it again, all while being very active in our community. And he basically said, like, the program changed everything for him. He actually went as far, he's the one that translated my entire program into Portuguese. Like, I didn't pay him for this. He just said, hey man, like, Brazil needs this program. This is an amazing program. I want people in my country to be able to access this. Like, if I find some guys to translate it, like, can we do this? Can we make it happen? And I just said, sure. Okay. I think I was living in Brazil at the time, so it seemed like a nice fit. And that's actually how we ended up with Poker Mindset Mastery Brazil, which now is used by all the people in PLO5. So that's very cool. Anybody else have any questions? Any questions about the program, about the offer? If we have any guys, we have a few people on here who are actually in the program already. So we've got, let's see, who do we have? I think we have Simo is here. Let's see. Casper's here. Casper's our WSOP bracelet winner. That's really cool to have our first. Is it our first Dietrich? I don't know if Dietrich is still here, but I think he might have a bracelet. He's won all the titles. But Casper won a title this year. He won a GG WSOP online event for a bracelet. So it's kind of surreal, to make a program and then like you look back a couple of years later and you've got WPT champions, you've got WSOP champions, you've got W Coop champions, Scoop champions. It's really cool. You guys may not know this. I actually have a Scoop trophy as well. I've never actually won a Scoop, but I won a leaderboard for like they rank you for having a lot of final tables and stuff. And week 2 in 2020, I got the trophy for like most points in the medium buy-in level, mostly because I got second in an event for like 120K. And then I had a bunch of other deep runs. So I have no scoop titles, but I do have a trophy. Kind of a weird question over here from someone who says, why do we advertise Endrit's success as our own? I mean, Endrit has been on many of our group calls. He did do a lot of work with Poker Mindset Mastery. So I don't really know where that's coming from, but haters gonna hate. Yeah, I was a Supernova Elite for 2 years. I was playing sit and goes on full tilt before Black Friday, so I was grinding like that similar volume, winning like rake races, and then after Black Friday, I did Supernova Elite on PokerStars. Let's see. Funny poker story. I must have a lot. The one that comes to mind is like in 2009, Doug and I were hanging out in Vegas. And Doug and I used to be pretty good friends before Black Friday because we both lived in the same town. This is Doug Polk. And he was telling me the story of being at the casino and just in like a live casino. And some guy says, who want to play a big money gamble game? And like this was just some high roller who wanted to play high stakes PLO. And Doug was more of an NL player at the time. But he's like, I do, and just immediately, like next thing you know, she's playing heads up PLO against this like complete degenerate gambler for like pretty high stakes. And I think that was like he was telling me the story because he just won like I don't know exactly how much he won. This was like 15 years ago, but that was a pretty funny story. Let's see. I probably have more. I just have to think of it. That's just what came to mind. Biggest mindset trap players fall into, not going from good to great. Oh, so this is a really good question. The biggest mindset trap that people fall into, you guys might have seen the testimonial I posted of Patrick Leonard this week, and he says it's called like "Speak to James if you're winning." And the biggest trap that people fall into is like if you're already good. Like a lot of people think mindset coaches are for people who suck and people who have a lot of problems. You know what I mean? If you're like a winner, you think I don't need a mindset coach. And this is like ego. And ego is the trap that kind of prevents people from getting to really high stakes. I work with a lot of guys who are crushers, right? Like I have one client who plays 25, 50 heads at PLO. I've worked with Jungle Man. Like I've been really, really good friends with Romeo Pro and quite a few other like really high level players, European, Elmerix. These guys, they're so beyond their ego when they're thinking about theory and poker and they're looking at like, did I make the right play? They just have a very different view. I mean, a lot of them have worked with many different coaches, many different experts. Like they're always looking for other people and other people's perspective. And that's a very big difference between someone who like kind of thinks they know it all because they've had, a certain level of success that's relative to their peers. So a lot of people look down and they go like, oh, I'm doing better than these people. So like, let them get the coaching because I'm up here. But they're not looking like up to what's way ahead of them and thinking, who do I need to learn from and who do I need to hang out with to get to that next level? And it's because you're basically like, if you're looking in the past and looking at back at people who are like maybe not where you are and just thinking like, oh, working on yourself, personal development is for those people. Well, then you're not thinking about what you can do to move forward. So ego is the thing that holds most people back. It certainly held me the most back in my life. I actually didn't have a coach, so to speak, till I was about 28. I didn't read so many books. I didn't really learn from other people because it's kind of like a form of insecurity where basically I didn't like to think that I had so much more to learn and that I had so much more to grow. Once you kind of accept, like the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know, and you become a lot more humble. At that point, it's much easier to see, okay, so just like tangibly, what do I do to get to the next level? Who's someone who's accomplished that before, helped others accomplish that before? What can I learn? You realize there's no prize for doing everything yourself. Like anytime you accomplish anything all by yourself, is like you could have accomplished that faster and easier by getting help from somebody else. So like realizing it's actually dumb and kind of a failing to do things all on your own. And this is the same true in business. I mean, I didn't organize this promotion all by myself, right? Like my team helped me a ton with marketing, with email, with social media. Like as an entrepreneur, you have to learn not to do everything by yourself. With the 5 card PLO stable, I mean, we have a team that help us, recruit new players, vet them, add them. We have a whole organization, and just learning, you have to start working with other people. Poker feels like a me versus them kind of game, but to really win, like to really win in the gambling business, to really win in poker, to really, even if you're just a poker player and you have no business at all besides your own game, you need to have the network to learn from, to find out about the new good games, like all this kind of stuff. If you're not networking and you're just kind of like trying to do everything yourself, you're just making life so unnecessarily hard for yourself. So I'd say that's the biggest trap people fall into, is their ego and trying to do everything alone, kind of being a lone wolf. Biggest aha moment in my career or life. So the biggest aha moment in my life was, I guess, like when I was 27 or 28. I was going through a breakup at the time, and I was focused a lot on poker to kind of take my mind off stuff in my personal life. And then poker started going great. Like I had made a transition out of sit and goes into PLO, and I was lucky. I got out before they axed Supernova Elite, so I didn't get screwed over. And basically, I had worked for 2 years to try to make real money at PLO, starting at 50 cent dollar, or 25 cent, 50 cent, after historically playing like sit and goes as high as like 1K, 2K. And it took me a long time. But eventually, I think it was like 18 months, I was playing 510 and 1020. And I guess that may not seem like so long, but when you're used to making a certain level of income and then you drop down to making a lot less, it certainly feels like a long road. And when I had my first 20K months playing PLO, it didn't make me like nearly as happy as I thought it was. Like I suddenly had enough money that I didn't have to worry about money. And I wasn't very happy. And that was the big aha moment in my life. That's when I started reading a lot of books. That's when I went, saw Tony Robbins, went, did ayahuasca, like traveled the world, did tons of out of the box stuff. Because I realized just trying to be a success and trying to make money, when you get there, it's like, so this is it? Like, this is what I was working for? Like, what can you buy? You know what I mean? You can already go out to the nice restaurants. You can already, travel if you want to travel. Like, what can you buy that's going to make your life better? And I realized, like, if I want to make my life better, I need the skills. I didn't know how to have a healthy relationship. I didn't know how to, be grateful. I didn't know a lot of the stuff that I now teach. And that was the big aha moment in my life. That's why this program exists. Because if you're a poker player and you think hitting your poker goals is going to be enough, it's not. And I know I work with loads of entrepreneurs and loads of people who are way more successful than me. And it's like people have to get to a certain level of success to realize like, oh, that's not the thing. And the thing, like the work that will make you truly happy and fulfilled in your life, it's always been there. And a lot of people just kick the can down the road. They implode, they self-sabotage to just stay on the treadmill of like one day, someday when I'm successful enough. But the reality is you should work on yourself today. You should work on yourself every day, because that's going to make you happy. And, money comes and goes. And if you're smart, you can make it so money is coming a lot more than it's going. But ultimately, like that's one thing, and living a happy and fulfilled life is another. And they go together pretty well. They're separate, but they're symbiotic. So it makes a lot of sense to do both. Let's see. All right. Congratulations, Cole. Welcome to the community. Super happy to have you. And thank you, Dietrich, for the recommendation. When you go into a live festival, should you set high expectations or just go with the flow? Well, a live festival, like a live poker series, you might play the whole series, and it's the same number of tournaments you could play on a Sunday when you're playing online. And of course, there's bigger edges in live poker and people are worse and you should have a higher ROI. But like I played the WSOP in 2009. It was soft. And my edge relative to the field was probably bigger than it is now. But I bricked everything, And I played the WSOP in 2010 and, bricked more than I cashed. I played the Aussie Millions twice. Like it's pretty easy to have a bad Sunday, right? So it's pretty easy to have a bad festival, even if you're really good. So my advice is always think about your downside. It's really important in investing, in trading, and poker. A professional knows what they can lose and understands like how they're going to feel if the worst case scenario happens. Amateurs think about how much they can win. Amateurs look at first place money and they say, I want that. They don't sell action. They just buy in and they hope it works out. And they assume I'll just keep doing this and eventually I'm going to nail it. Right. But what happens more often than not is they lose 100% of themselves. Right. And then they have to play lower and they delay their inevitable success. Whereas if you're an intelligent investor, if you always manage risk accordingly and understand you could have a really bad run of cards and it's not about your skill, you can just run bad because, math, then you protect yourself from unnecessary pain, to be honest, because it really hurts to lose money that you can't afford to lose. And it hurts to have to get set back and to have to, take longer on your trajectory than you should have. It doesn't feel good. So learning to eliminate those downside risks, losing money will always hurt more than winning money feels good. Because as we discussed, no matter how much money you win, it's never going to truly make you happy. But if you've ever been fucking broke, it sucks. Being broke can definitely make you really unhappy, really depressed, really stressed out. It's bad for your health. It has so many negative effects. And the main thing that having money does is kind of inoculate you from that. So now I'm not going to have the stress. I'm not going to have the, obsession that I need to make more money just to get by. I'm not going to have the negative health effects of constantly having to sit at a desk to work, to grind, to just get over the hump. Okay, I remove that. I can breathe. But that's about it. Now it's okay, what am I going to do with my time? What's going to make a happy life for me? How do I build happy relationships? All of this stuff, really just having a good financial situation prevents you from all the problems of having a bad financial situation. It allows you to start living your life. So it's not about, the difference between 10K and 50K is way bigger than between 50K and 100K. And between 100K and 200K is way bigger than between 200 and 300. You get where I'm going? The difference between having $0 and 10K is probably bigger than the difference between having $1 million and 2 million. Because if you have $0, you're in a real bad spot, So I guess with a festival, I would just be aware of what can happen. You could do great, and you should definitely open and allow the possibility that you're gonna have a great festival. Definitely play in the softest games. If you're a cash game player, get on those lists and play in the best spots you can. But just never put yourself in a position where you can't handle the worst case scenario, because at some point in your career, it's going to happen. And if you always make a habit of allowing a worst case scenario that will break you, it's just math. Eventually, you're going to get broke. Let's see. Subtle benefits of the program. So subtle benefits of the program is better relationships, more happiness in your day-to-day life. A lot of guys join